Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your daily horoscope for April 29th, 2020. So here we have not a lot going on that has changed and shifted. The big story here is the moon entering into Leo as it's getting closer and closer to this full moon in Scorpio. So the moon is building now, and it is now in the sign of Leo, where this is a time to express yourself. This is a time to know your self-worth, to have this confidence and this pride in knowing what is truly nurturing and fulfilling to you in your life. And we just came off of that moon conjunct the North Node in Cancer, where it is our mission, our duty to do what is of the highest, greatest good in our lives, what is truly fulfilling, what is truly nurturing to us in our lives. If we are in a space of disconnect from what is truly fulfilling to what is truly nurturing to what is truly beneficial in our lives, this is an issue here. And we have this big T square of the moon in Leo making a square over to Mercury, which is conjoined with Lilith and Uranus in Taurus, also making a square over to Saturn, which is here conjoined with Jupiter and Pluto. So there's a lot going on here in terms of, are we truly nurturing and fulfilling our needs, our desires? Are we expressing ourselves? Are we doing what we love? There's a lot here about this Leo energy that is expressing from the heart space, doing what you love, doing what you're passionate about, doing what brings you joy, showing your creative skills, showing your abilities to do what brings you the most happiness and joy in your life. And this in turn is beneficial to all of us as a collective, as this is making an aspect over to Chiron and Aries, where we are sorting out these wounds, these insecurities, these fears around who we are and what our image is, and what are these ego attachments and identities in our lives. This is making this square over to the moon in Leo, where Leo is also dealing with our identity. This is the expression of self, right? Coming from that heart space with what is it that you love? What is it that you want to do, that you want to create? What are you passionate about? And so there's a lot coming up here in terms of who are you and what are you going to do? And this is directly opposing this energy that we have built up here in terms of this Saturn in Aquarius, which is preparing to retrograde very soon here. So this Saturn in Aquarius is this restriction, this limitation, this responsibility, this duty of the collective. But here with this opposition over to Moon and Leo, there is a big story about, are you going to do what everyone else is going to do in society? Or are we going to come back to this Moon and Leo and make sure that we are doing our own inner authority of what is truly fulfilling and what is truly the best thing for us in our lives? With a sun in Taurus and moon in Leo, we are dealing with these energies of luxury, of sensuality, of doing what you love, of doing what brings you joy in your life. And so there's a lot here in terms of what we need to work on in order to make sure that we are not giving too much of ourselves to others, and that we're focusing on our own needs and what we need to work on in our own lives. And so there's a lot here where people are wanting to focus outside of themselves. What is the collective doing? What is society doing? What are the people out there in the external world doing? But what are you doing in your world, as Pluto is retrograde in a conjunction with Jupiter? That there's a lot of internal work that needs to be done here. And so with this and the moon in Leo, this is saying, what do you need to do to be truly in love with yourself and truly to do what you are in love with this moon in Leo? And remember that this is building up to a full moon in Scorpio, where we are leading up to this major moment of purging and releasing of these old feelings and attachments so that we can move forward in our lives. And keep an eye out for the upcoming video on the full moon in Scorpio. A lot that's coming up here in terms of what this lunar cycle is leading up to in our lives. And we have a choice here where we can stay stuck in control. Keep in mind that Pluto is retrograde, the ruler of Scorpio, where we can stay in these lower octaves of power and control, or we can rise above that into the true power, which is in us, transforming and elevating into our greatest versions. And so as we're coming into this full moon, there is a choice here of whether we are creating or destroying. Which way will we go as we're building up to this moment here? And this Venus in Gemini getting ready to retrograde very soon is a part of this story, as it's saying that this is a time to focus in on communicating with those around you, in your familiar surroundings, in what you already know, and where you can learn and grow in these areas that are familiar to you. If you have not checked out the North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius video, go ahead and check that out. We are entering into this brand new karmic cycle, which is dealing with coming back to communication, coming back to your familiar surroundings, paying attention to what is going on around you instead of seeking outside of yourself. And so there's a lot of internal work that needs to be done here once again with this Pluto retrograde, which is conjunct Jupiter, making this a big, expansive transformation that we're going through. And of course, with the Sun, Uranus, Lilith, and Mercury in Taurus, this is a moment of finding a new foundation. This is a moment of finding new values, finding new security that better serves you in your life, as Uranus is in here to make these radical changes and shifts that are unexpected and surprising. And we do have Lilith in here as well with this Taurus energy, where this is asking you, what do you truly desire in terms of security, in terms of the foundation, in terms of the way that you want it to look like, in terms of what you're creating. There's a big plan that's building here with Mars in Aquarius, where it is asking you to plan out what steps you're going to take next. What are you going to do moving into this new space? And there's a lot here that is trying to trip us up, that is a bit of an illusion of fear, of doubt, of worry, as Neptune's sitting at those last degrees of Pisces. So again, not a lot that has changed here. We're still going through this process of doing this internal work and figuring out what our plans are moving ahead, as well as keeping in mind this connection with not only humanity, as we are here with this responsibility and this duty of Saturn and Aquarius to serve the collective, to be supportive of humanity, but also this Venus and Gemini reminding us to connect with those who are closest to us. And so a lot going on in terms of relationships as we're going through this moment of social distancing, that there is a reminder here to remember to still be connected, to remember to still have these relationships and these connections with others, as love is the big test here going into this Venus retrograde coming up. I pulled some cards for April 29th as well. The first card we have here is the 12th house in reverse. And of course, the 12th house is connected to Pisces. It is the last house where we are dealing with the subconscious. We're dealing with the unconscious. We're dealing with repressed feelings. We're dealing with releasing, letting go, the entanglement of the ego. Right? We are detaching from the physical confinements as we enter into this 12th house, transcending above it. And so there is something big about the 12th house that is this spiritual escape and this ultimate surrender of letting go and giving into God and the universe. But also in this 12th house, there's the opposite of that, which is this escape to delusion and illusions and fears and the past. And so during this moment with the 12th house in reverse, are we trying to escape and trying to leave off into something that is not real? Are we getting caught up in these stories of trying to go back to the past, trying to get into these situations that are comfortable, that are stable, that are holding us back from the potential of creating something brand new, stepping into something brand new in this new space here? And so this is a moment of not only remembering to stay present in reality, but remembering that when we're escaping, when we're leaving, what is the purpose of this? Is this to go within, to connect to source, or is this to escape to something that isn't realistic, something that is delusional, something that takes us out of reality? Last card here we have is the Emperor, so we're trying to escape our own power. With the Emperor here, once again, going back to that moon in Leo, this is a time of connecting to yourself. This is a time of connecting to what you can create, to what you love, to what you're passionate about. In a time of really focusing, as this Emperor energy is very much connected to Mars. Mars is in Aquarius, focusing on what is the plan? Where are you going? Right? Remember yesterday we saw that Two of Wands. This is a major moment of needing to make a choice about the direction that you are moving and entering into. And with the Emperor here, it's a moment of stepping into your true worth and your true power. So that was your horoscope for April 29th, 2020. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. If you'd like to share some spiritual wisdom, positivity, motivational advice, go ahead and join the group Astro Metaphysical Love and Light on Facebook. I want to thank you all once again so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.